While we wait for Lanning, I was looking at Oregon's schedule today, just for the
Upcoming season.
hell of it. Yeah, for the upcoming season. No, obviously they had Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
In Autzen. I don't think they had another great home game other than that game, but boy, if you're an Oregon fan this year, at least a fan who goes to home games,
A little rough.
Well, if USC is average this season, and they may be really good, so that may be your best home game right there. Late in the season, you host USC, and there could be a lot on the line for that, so that'll be fun. But should they not be that great, your best home game outside of that is Indiana. It's like Indiana. Well,
Signetti though, nah.
Well,
nah.
I don't.
Yeah, no one comes to see the coach.
I don't know. So their home schedule is Middle Tennessee State, Oklahoma State. So you can see Mike Gundy's stupid mullet running around down there. I don't know how good they're going to be. They weren't very good last year. Oregon State, Indiana, Wisconsin. Again, that was a good game last year there. Minnesota, PJ Fleck coming to town, and USC. That's it at home. Nice, winnable schedule, but also kind of leaves a little something to be desired. Now, if you are a fan of road trips, sneaky good roadie. Now, they go to Penn State, which I'm sure a lot of Duck fans will make that trip. I'd love to see a game there. And they also go to Iowa. That will be cool. But a sneaky good road trip for fans in September, which I think will mean pretty good weather up there. They're playing at Northwestern. Good little trip. Headed to Chicago. I hear him. I hear the man. Is that Dan Lanning on the line?
How we doing? You guys good?
Yeah, we're great. How are you?
Doing good.
Congrats on the new Bronco.
Thanks.
What's the story behind that?
Not a big story. Just I've actually had it for about a year now. But yeah, it's a car I always liked from a distance, and certainly fun to drive around.
Yeah, it's what, custom 1977 Bronco? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 74.
74. Badass. Now, is that a daily driver or just on occasion?
No. That's just when you're feeling good and there's an opportunity to take advantage of it, we drive it, but it's not a daily driver.
Did you guys get any family trips in this year yet?
We did. For spring break, we took a trip to Italy.
Oh,
really? It was a lot of fun.
Well, that's where my co-host is right now. He's there. Where did you go in Italy?
We did Rome and Venice.
Awesome. Which is better?
Yeah. They're both uniquely different, and both were spectacular. It was awesome. Our boys were like the perfect age for it. Hitting the history and seeing some buildings that are 2,000-year-old. It was pretty fun.
I've been to both, and I will tell you, I say this to the listeners all the time. A lot of people think Venice is a little overrated. I'm not really sure why. I loved it. I thought that everywhere you look is a postcard there. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised. Kind of the same thing you described. That people saying, "Hey, it's not. You're going to love Rome," and I love Venice. It was great.
Yeah. So the 1 p.m. kick on Saturday, it's the Oregon spring game. We'll have it here on the Fan. You are not in the camp of some other coaches who are no longer presenting spring games. Explain why.
Well, I mean, one, I think we have a unique environment here at Oregon where fans want to be a part of it and a chance to see their team, and creating that game day environment for our players, I think, is really important. The best way to get good at football is to play football, and we've had a lot of success with it in the past, and it's an opportunity for our fans to be able to see it firsthand.
What football team wise, coach wise, what do you hope to get out of it Saturday?
Well, a little better at football, right? That's the piece, is getting to go play. We're gonna get an opportunity to improve, and then more than that, see what guys are like when it's a little bit different setting, right? You want practice to be as much like a game as possible, but it's not quite the same. When you throw some fans in the stand and a little bit of excitement around it, I think that changes things.
So when you assess last season and what you need to improve upon or even change, what areas did you pinpoint?
Well, I mean, one, this is a completely different team than last year, right? So, I mean, every year it's funny. We go through and you evaluate what was really good and what wasn't. But like this year, our number one call on defense was different than it was last year, and that's because you have to adapt to the strengths of your players and your team. And same thing offensively, what was really good for us. So, I think you try to say, okay, what's the team need to change? This is a completely different team. This is a lot of different players. So really it's more about finding the strengths of this new team. What do we do really well? What do we do different? And every year it's looked a little bit different for us on both sides of the ball. But ultimately I'm really pleased with the progress of this group so far.
Do you have more or less turnover than last year, or about the same?
I don't know. I don't know that I've looked at it like that. I mean, we have a lot of guys that are about to hear their name called for the draft, in these next few days. So there's certainly a lot of transition. There's a lot of new faces. But I don't know if it was different, the year before.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a thing. But I want to ask, like, is there a balanced number that is ideal, number of returners versus new players, or is this just the new age of college football where you're just going to get a lot of turnover every year?
Well, I think if we're doing things right, come draft time every year, that you're going to see a good number of our players getting those opportunities. And I mean, college football, you're always going to have transition, right? You can't keep them for 8 years. There was a period of time where you could keep them for 6, which is pretty weird. With COVID extensions and everything else that exists. But now, I think you'll be back into more of the routine of every 4 years you're seeing a new team.
Yeah. This is Dan Lanning from Oregon. So Dante Moore, a lot of people want to know about him. I think it's pretty unusual in today's climate that a kid sits and waits their turn. I mean, especially at quarterback. What does that say about him?
Well, I think he knew what he was signing up for when he came here. Same with Austin and Brock Thomas and KJ and Luke and all the guys in that room. I think they've learned and people have learned, like in college football, there is a benefit to being able to learn on the fly and practice every day with the team and get involved in the system. And he's one of those guys that has a unique perspective of both. Right? He's been thrown in the fire before as a freshman. I think he valued the opportunity to learn and grow as a player. Even if it meant that he wasn't necessarily on the field every down.
Yeah, certainly a lot of kids don't have that attitude. I mean, I assume that's part of when you recruit and you go out and hit the pavement, you look for that attitude because there's a lot of kids that don't have that attitude.
Well, I think you look for the right kind of people, the guys that have the right kind of character, and certainly that's a piece of it. But there's nobody out there that I'm recruiting and I'm like, hey, who wants to come sit for a year and watch? Like that shouldn't be any player's mindset when they walk in the door. They should be battling to improve and get better. And if that gives them the opportunity to play, then take advantage of it.
So we haven't seen much of him at all since he played at UCLA. What have you seen from him in terms of growth since he came aboard?
Yeah, a guy that always had the ability as far as arm talent, but more the command of our offense is something that, I've been impressed with him as well as our other quarterbacks. They've all done a really good job of picking up, some of the checks, some of the things that we're asking our quarterback to do. I think we're a place that asks the quarterback to do a lot more than some systems, and he's done an unbelievable job of that.
So you guys have a GM, a lot of schools do now. Roster management is the term that you hear. Can you describe how that works? You work with Marshall, and what is the process like managing your roster? Is it so much different than it used to be, or is it just more people involved?
Well, I don't know. There's more people involved. It's not that. I mean, football is adapting. It's changing by the day, right? And everyone's looking for a competitive edge. Ultimately, you want a great team, and we've been fortunate to have great players come join our team. And be a part of, what we're building here. I think you look around state to state, you start seeing some states that are trying to be creative and how they can do that. I think I saw something today in Louisiana where, they're trying to create tax revenue to help pay for revenue share, which is, an elite idea. It's just, there's a lot of stress put in a lot of different places in an organization. And I think if you have a plan, you got a way to go execute it. And we've kind of walked in the door with a plan since we got here day one. And that necessarily, hasn't necessarily changed. We have to adapt and adjust as rules continue to change. Absolutely. But the great thing about college football is it's different every day.
Yeah, especially now. You guys doing the summer retreats again this year?
Yeah, we'll do some of that.
So continuity at the coordinator positions again, which is nice. Is that a big help to you as you gear up for a season, or is it inconsequential?
No, it's absolutely a benefit when you have people that you've worked with before. You understand how they operate. I mean, I think there's a huge benefit, and I think it speaks to the health of the program too. Of having guys that are back and understand how it's done and how we want to accomplish things.
How's the construction going?
Great. I get to look outside my window every single day and kind of soak it in. It's pretty cool to see the progress that they're creating. One thing that our fans got to be alert for is they might want to show up to the spring game a little bit early because the traffic will be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Coming in. So just having a plan for that in place. But it's definitely worth driving by and taking a look. It's changing by the day.
Are you an open door guy when you're in your office? Is the door always open?
Yeah, it's closed right now because I'm on the phone with you, but generally it is open.
Okay. So if a kid's got in other words, what I'm getting at is like you can go in your office and shut the door and you can hide. Like if the door's shut, people know it's like, hey, he's probably doing something. We can't bother him. Or do they just come in on you?
If the door's shut, they're not walking in, but the door's always open, so they come by a lot.
Okay. So after the game, I read that I got an email about this. I don't know why, but I did. After the game, you fly to Atlanta for the Peach Bowl Challenge charity golf tournament, where you're competing. Mm-hmm. You were there last year. You're competing against likes of Kirby Smart and PJ Fleck and other coaches in golf. Is the game in order?
Is my golf game in order?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm hoping it continues to improve. Because the better we do, the more we can win for charity. So I'm hoping I can get a great partner and that'll certainly help me out there.
Yeah, you can win. I think you're playing for the Night Cancer Institute, like $300,000. Who's the best coach golfer? Because I know you played there last year, right?
Yeah, I think Mike Norvell and Urban Meyer won it last year. Hugh Freeze is a pretty good golfer right here. But there's some good ones out there.
Can you take down Kirby at least?
No, I don't think so. No, he's probably a better golfer than me.
Which is good. That means you're spending more time coaching, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Hopefully my game can improve someday.
All right, man. Thank you. We will see you at the spring game. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you.
It's Oregon coach Dan Lanning. And I just lied to him because I won't see him at the spring game. But Dusty will. So maybe he can, I don't know, put on a mask of me or something,
Yeah, send Dusty
I
out
totally
there in a rock
just
mask.
I just lied to him, and I don't even know why. Hey, we'll see you down there. Yeah,
well,
no, we won't.
The collective we.
I'm not going.
1080 the fan will see him at the spring game.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're not wrong.
That's right. That tournament where he's playing all those coaches down in it's outside of Atlanta. It's just south of Atlanta. It's called Reynolds Lake Oconee, and I'm telling you, it is awfully nice. When we went to the Masters, we went and played a little golf down there and stayed in there. It's like a lake resorty kind of area.
Okay.
Real nice. I bet you he spent some time down there when he was at UGA.
Well, I didn't know this. I mean, you brought up Marshall. Is it Malchow? The
GM.
The GM.
Yeah.
The YouTube chat telling us that you'll appreciate Oregon's GM is from Augusta, Georgia.
Is he really?
I guess so. I
wonder
know that
if he must have brought him over from Georgia. You think?
I would imagine so, but I don't know.
Yeah, I like all the Georgia connections though, man.
Sure.
It's a hell of a program down there. How about that? Dan Lanning talking about his program here on our program.
It's a lot of program.
Good stuff. Hadn't talked to him in a while. All right, so he did mention something in there about Louisiana. For those of you that missed that, I want to talk about that next.
Yeah, it's an interesting little nugget.
It is an interesting little. He said he liked the idea.
He said it was an elite idea.
Elite idea. I'm not sure that it is, but we'll talk about it coming up next.